All right, y'all. So tonight's problems can be a little bit long, so I will do them by hand, and I will show you how to do these on the calculator also. So 3.5 deals with systems of equations. And we'll be looking at systems of equations in 3 variables, but we're going to start with systems of equations in 2 variables, okay? All right, y'all, let me let a few more in real quick. All righty, so things that can help us in this section when we're looking at systems of equations, these are the type of moves we can do. So the first thing we get to do with these systems of equations, we eliminate variables by adding 2 equations together. So that's sort of how we eliminate the variables. Like if I had 5x in one equation and a negative 5x in the other equation, when I added those x's would cancel. Okay, so in order to eliminate the variables, they got to be the same except for their signs, okay? Now, if needed, we can change one or both of the equations by multiplying. Now, if I change an equation by multiplying, I got to do it to every single term in that equation, okay? Because sometimes when I'm looking at my 2 equations, I might not have any variables that'll cancel. So then it might be needed, like I said, to change one or both of them. All right, now the answers. We're going to write the answers as ordered pairs, which will be an X and a Y. So if I got 2 variables, we'll write the answer as ordered pairs or as ordered triples. And we'll use ordered triples if we got an X, Y, and a Z, okay? So like I said, we'll start out with 2 variables, but we will get into the 3 variables, which is a little bit trickier on us, okay? So y'all, what I'm going to do, I'm going to start our first example, and we're going to solve by the elimination method. And they call it elimination method because we're eliminating the variable as we go through, okay? Now, they're going to start out sort of mild, and then they make them more difficult as we go. All right, y'all. So on the first one, I got a 5x plus 6y is going to equal negative 33. I got a 7x minus 6y equals a negative 75. So the first thing I would choose is which of these variables do I want to eliminate? Well, y'all, the 5 and 7, if you added that, that's going to give you 12 x's. But look here at these y's. You got
6y.
yeah, the y's, right? You got a 6y and a negative 6y. So we're going to eliminate the y variable. And we don't have to do any change into this one because these will cancel right out. So add these two rows together. 5 and 7 give me 12 x's. The y's cancel. And then over here, we got a negative 33 and negative 75. I think that's what, a negative 108. So when you got a system of two variables and you eliminate one variable, you're left with one variable. At this point, we're going to solve for x. And usually when you're solving for the variable you got left, it's just a little bit of division going on, okay? So let's divide both sides by 12. And y'all look, that gives me 1x over here. And that's going to be what, a negative, I think that's a negative 9. So notice, I now know that the x variable is negative 9. So what I'm going to do now to solve for the y variable, we're going to substitute negative 9 for the x in either of the original equations. And this is what we sort of call back substituting. We're going to go back into one of these two original equations. And I'll probably pick the first one because that's all positive on this side. So I'm just going to put a negative 9 in for that x. So I got 5 times negative 9 plus 6y has to equal that negative 33. Now, y'all, it don't matter which equation you pick, okay? Just plug that x into one of them. So now you're going to multiply first. 5 times negative 9 is negative 45 plus 6y equals that negative 33. Now solve for the y. So we're going to add 45 to both sides. And that brings down my 6y. And y'all, what's that? Negative 33 and 45 is a 12. In our last step now, divide by 6, and we'll have our y. So we divide both sides by 6. So that cancels, giving me 1y. 12 divided by 6 gives me 2. So remember, in Math Lab, it has to be in the form of an ordered pair. So we're going to put our x first, which is negative 9. And then our y value was a 2. All right, y'all, question on that one. Now, if you wanted to, you could plug this negative 9 in, that 2 in. So let's see, negative 9 times 5 is negative 45. So that would give you negative 45. 2 times 6 is 12. Negative 45 plus 12 equals that negative 33. Okay, so they will check out once you plug them answers back in, okay? So let me do one more and then I'll show you how to do these on the calculator. All right, y'all. So number 2, they're giving us 9x plus 3y equals negative 12. 3x minus a y equals negative 2. So look here, if I add that, 9 and 3 give me 12. 3 and -1 give me 2. So I cannot eliminate any variable right off the bat. But I can change any row I want to, y'all. Now you could do the x's. You got a 9x here. We could multiply this whole row by a -3, because -3 times 3 would make that a -9x. If we wanted to eliminate the y's, we got a 3 and a -1. We can multiply the second row by 3 to get rid of the y's. So y'all, do we want to get rid of x's or y's? It don't matter. So what y'all think?
I'd say the Y's.
Okay, so we're going to eliminate the y. Now, they would probably be a little bit easier because you got a positive and a negative already. So y'all, let me write one in real quick. So if I'm going to eliminate the y, this is 3y. What I'm going to do to eliminate the y is multiply the second equation by 3. Now remember, we're going to multiply this second equation by 3 all the way through. So the first equation is going to stay the same. That's going to be a 9x plus 3y equals -12. Now we're going to come in and take this second equation and multiply all 3 parts by 3. So 3 times 3 gives me 9x. 3 times a -y is a -3y. And then 3 times -2 is a -6. All right, so good job. The y's now cancel. So I'm going to add these rows together. So add the 2 equations together. So 9 and 9, y'all, that's going to give me 18x. The y's cancel in the middle. And a -12 and -6 is -18. All right, solve for x now. Well, all we got to do is divide by 18 on both sides. So that cancels, give me 1x. And y'all, -18 divided by +18 gives me a -1. So I'm probably going to plug that right into this first equation, member. So now, member, I'm going to back substitute. And we're going to put -1 in for the x of either equation. So y'all, I'm just going to put my -1 in for that first x. So that's going to give me 9 times -1 plus 3y equals -12. All right, so you're always going to multiply first whatever number you put in for the variable. So that'll give me -9 plus 3y equals -12. All right, remember, solve for the y now. So add 9 to both sides. All right, y'all, that's going to give me 9's cancel. So I got 3y, -12 and 9, give me -3. And y'all, final step, divide by that 3 on both sides. So that cancels, give me 1y. And then -3 divided by 3 gives me a -1. So this one, I got a -1 for the x, -1 for the y. So if you put a -1 in, that gives you -9 here. -1 in for the y, that gives you -3. -9 and -3 equal -12. All right, y'all, questions? So they're not too bad with two variables. So let me show you what you're going to do on 3. And then I'll probably work this one out by hand to show you how to do the calculator. I'm going to work it out and show you how to do the calculator on this one. And that's because it's got decimals. Now, y'all watch this one. I got a 7y minus 2x equals a negative 8.5. Now, y'all, I'm going to ask y'all, looking at these two equations, do you see something that we might need to fix?
Switch around the y and the x's.
Yeah, right here, y'all. These are out of order. You want all your x's in the first column, all your y's in the second column, and then your numbers. So good job. So we got to rearrange the second equation. So the first one will stay the same. 8x minus 9y equals 24.5. So if we rearrange this one, we're going to bring our negative 2x plus the 7y. That'll equal the negative 8.5. So this is now the equation I would try to solve at this point. All right, so y'all, let me ask y'all, do all of y'all got a calculator or a phone calculator that is a TI-84?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna do this one by hand, and then I'm gonna put this one on the calculator also, okay? So y'all look here. 8x negative 2x, 9y, 7y. We got to pick out which variable we think is easier to eliminate. And y'all, I'm looking at these x's because I got an 8 and a -2. If I multiply this whole row by 4, that'll give me a -8x here. Now, in order to eliminate the y, we would almost have to find the smallest number that a 9 and 7 would go into for that one, okay? So, we're going to play up the x's on this one. So, I'm going to eliminate x, which means I'm going to multiply second equation by 4. So I'm going to multiply this whole second equation by 4. So the first equation will stay the same. 8x minus 9y equals 24.5. All righty, and let's see. 4 times -2 gives me -8x. 4 times 7 gives me 28y. And then 4 times -8.5. That is a -34. All right, y'all, look at this. 8x is canceled with the -8x's. They're gone. So 28 minus 9 leaves me, what, 19y. That's going to equal 24.5 minus that 34, which gives me a -9.5. So unfortunately, this one looks like we're going to end up with decimals on it. All right, y'all, divide both sides by 19 and see what we get. So that cancels, got a y. So negative 9.5 divided by 19. Now let's see how they want these answers. So this one I actually think will take decimals because it don't tell me to write a fraction. It just says type an ordered pair. Well, that negative 9.5 divided by 19 gave me a negative 0.5. So I now know what my y value is. So I'm going to plug in that negative 0.5 and then we'll solve for the x. So now we're going to back substitute. And y'all, I'm just going to use my first equation. So I got 8x minus 9 times a negative 0.5. That's got to equal 24.5. All right, y'all, that negative 9 times that negative 0.5 is going to become a positive 4.5 equal to my 24.5. I'm going to subtract the 4.5. Y'all look at that. That brings down my 8x. 4.5's cancel. 24.5 minus 4.5 is 20. All right, y'all, that step divided by 8. So that cancels, giving me my x. All right, y'all, 20 divided by 8 gives me a positive 2.5. So for this one, my x value was 2.5. My y value, negative 0.5. All right, y'all, so I'm going to show you how to do these on the calculator. Now, the main thing on the calculator, they got to be in the right order like this. You got to have the x's, the y's, and then your numbers. Now, all I'm going to put in the calculator, and let me go to a page. All righty. And I'm going to write the one we're doing. So I'm going to do it from the point where we got it rearranged in the right order. And then once we arranged it, we had a negative 2x plus 7y equaled a negative 8.5. All righty. So let me show y'all how to do these on the calculator. Especially when we got these systems of 3 variables coming up. All right, so y'all, I'm going to share my calculator. Now, on the left side, we're going to use what we call the matrix, matrix. It's right under the math button on the left side. Well, let me clear that. You'll see a x negative 1 button. Above it, it says blue matrix. So to get to the matrix stuff, we're going to hit the second and then the x negative 1 button. Now, we're going to put in our matrix. So we're going to go to edit. And on edit, we're going to hit enter. So the first thing we got to tell it, y'all, is how many rows we got times how many columns we got. When you got 2 variables, you're going to have a 2 by 3. It's going to have 2 columns, enter, and 3 columns. So 2 rows by 3 columns, okay? And it's going to look like the numbers we're about to put in will fit perfect now. So I had an 8, enter. That was my 8x. I got a -9 for the y, enter. Now notice I'm not putting variables, I'm only putting numbers. And then that first answer was 24.5, enter. So there's my first row, 8x minus 9y equals 24.5. Second row, I had a -2x, so that's going to be a -2, enter. I had a 7y, so that'll be 7, enter. And then that one equaled a -8.5. And then enter. So hit enter after each one of these. So y'all, there's my 2 equations. My 8x minus 9y is 24.5. My -2x plus 7y equals -8.5. So now I hit the second button and the mode button because I want to quit. But in the calculator, I now have my matrix stored in there, my 2x3 matrix. So now we want to make the calculator solve that matrix. So we're going to hit second, x -1 to get the matrix stuff again. But y'all, this time we're not going to edit. This time we're going to go to math. And we're going to arrow down until we find RREF. Not REF, but RREF. This will reduce the matrix into the final answers. So I'm going to hit enter on RREF. Now I got to put the matrix in there for it to reduce. So for the third time, I'm going to hit second, x -1 for the matrix. So my matrix A is 2x3 matrix that I just made. So I'm going to hit enter. So now it's saying, hey, we're going to reduce that matrix A you just put in. So y'all, when I put enter, my answers will be on the right side, the X on top, and then the Y on bottom. And y'all look there, there's my X, which was 2.5, and my Y value, which is the -0.5. So what y'all think? Y'all all right with that? Oh, yeah or nay?
Yeah.
Well, let's try another one and see how y'all do. How about that? And I'll do another 2 variable. So 5x plus 2y equals 32. 2x plus 5y equals 38. So look here, I got 2 and 5 here, 2 and 5 on the y's. Now, if I wanted to change these rows, I would have to change both rows. And probably the smallest number I can use for 2s and 5s would be a 10. I would have to make one of these a +10 and one of these a -10 in order to cancel these variables, okay? All right, y'all. So y'all want these by hand or on that calculator?
Whichever you want to do.
Oh, I'm good either way. I'm just saying what y'all want. Well, how about we do this one both ways again? So y'all pick me the X's or the Y's you want to eliminate. And it looks like, well, hell, we'll do the X's. How about that? So check this out. To eliminate the X's, I'm going to make this row a positive 10 by multiplying all these by 2. I'm going to make the second row a negative 10 by multiplying all these by negative 5. So we got to change both rows. So multiply the top row by 2, and then I'm going to multiply this row by negative 5. So no matter which variable you eliminate, you're going to have to multiply one of them by negative since everything's positive on this, okay? So let's distribute the 2. 2 times 5 gives me 10x. Plus 2 times 2 gives me 4y. And then 2 times 32 is 64. Now multiplying this one by negative 5, I get a negative 10x. Negative 25y. And then y'all, what's that? Let's see, 38 times that negative 5. So negative 190. But I now got what I needed to happen. The 10x and the negative 10x, they're going to cancel. So negative 25 and 4 gives me negative 21y. And then negative 190 and 64 give me a negative 126. All right, so now we can solve for y by dividing by that negative 21. And y'all, that cancels, giving me my 1y. And I think that is what, a positive 6. So I know y is 6. So I'm going to back substitute up here. So I'll probably use that first equation, put a 6 in for that y. So I'm going to back substitute. So I'm going to do 5x plus 2 times 6 will equal 32. All right, multiply first. So 5x plus 12 equals 32. All right, y'all, to solve, I'm going to move my 12 by subtraction. That's going to give me my 5x. That cancels. 32 minus 12 is 20. All right, divide by 5 and be done. So that gives me 1x. 20 divided by 5 gives us a 4. So this one, we got a 4, comma 6. But y'all, let's do it in the calculator. Now, in the calculator, I'm going to put the original equation, 5, 2, 32, and then I'll do 2, 5, 38. Remember, it's 2 equations by 3 columns. Okay? All right, so I'm going to go back to the calculator. I'm going to clear this all off. All right, so second, x negative 1 to get to the matrix. And I'm just going to edit the first one every time. I usually use A. So I'm going to go to edit and hit enter. So it's already got my 2 by 3. So I'm just going to hit enter twice and then get to where I start putting in my numbers. So I had 5x. So that'll be 5 enter. 2y will be 2 enter. And then 32 for the first answer. Enter. Second row, I had 2x. So 2 enter. 5y would be 5 enter. And then 38 and enter. So all my numbers are showing on the screen. So now we quit by hitting second mode. Now, remember, we're going to go in and get the math operations. So hit second, x negative 1, arrow to math. And y'all remember, I'm going all the way down and getting that RREF. And then I'm going to hit enter. So now it's going to reduce it, but we got to go and grab the matrix again. So second, x negative 1. And when I do that, I'm just going to hit enter because that's the first thing highlighted. So now I'm going to reduce my matrix A. When I hit enter on the right side, y'all, there it is. There's our 4 for the x and our 6 for the y. So y'all, not too bad. Either way, by hand, I'll tell you what, on the 2x3 matrices, hand ain't that bad. But we're about to do 3x4 matrices. Okay. Which means we'll have to have these in order of our. So we're going to do 3. Let's do systems of equations in 3 variables. Well, the first thing we need, whoops, let me go back. I'm not even sharing my screen, y'all, my bad. So for the systems of equations in 3 variables, we're going to have like an x plus y plus z equals some number. So the x has got to be in the first column, the y's in the second column, the z's in the third column, all equal to the number. And remember, the answers are in the form of x, y, and z. Okay. Now, these are a little bit different because I've got 3 variables. So by doing the elimination one time, that's not going to get rid of everything I need, okay? So here's what we got to do on these. But we got to turn these 3 variable equations into a system of 2 variables. And then we finish solving the 2 variable like we did up here. Then we do a lot of back substituting, okay? So the first thing you want to do, add 2 of the rows. Actually, how about this? Add 2 of the equations together to get rid of one of the variables. Now, here's the tricky part. I just used 2 of my 3 equations to get rid of one of the variables. Now, what I got to do, now, using the other equation, now I'm using the other equation of the 3 with either one. So I'm using the other equation with either one of the first 2 equations to get rid of the same variable. So with the first 2 I added, I got rid of an x. I've got to use the third equation with one of those 2 other equations to get rid of the x again. That's the only way that I'll have a 2x2 system left, okay? Now, y'all doing this, we now have a solve the remaining 2x3 equations. So at this point, I'll have 2 equations and 3 columns, okay? All right, so let me show you this one. These are trickier. This is when people start liking their calculator. All right, y'all, so here we go. We're going to solve x plus y plus z equals -1, 2x plus 5y plus 2z equals -11. And finally, -x plus 8y minus 3z equals a -24. All right, y'all, let me make sure I got all my numbers right. Now, a good thing that I do to keep up with these, I call this equation 1, equation 2, and equation 3. I sort of label my equations so y'all see what I'm actually doing to these, okay? Now, on this one, I'm going to say, to me, the easiest of these 3 variables to eliminate is going to be these x's. Because y'all, right off the bat, if I add row 1 and row 3, that positive x and that negative x are going to cancel. So I'm going to eliminate x's. So remember, I got to do this twice. So first, I'm going to add row 1 and 3. Yeah, add rows 1 and 3. So row 1 was x plus y plus z equaled -1. Row 3 is a -x plus 8y minus 3z equal to -24. All right, y'all, but look, x's cancel. So let's see what we got. 1 and 8 give us 9y. 1 minus 3 gives me a -2z. And a -1 and -24 give us a -25. So that's the first equation for my 2 variables. I got y's and z's. Now, we have to use the second row this time and eliminate the x. So y'all, I got a 2x here. I'm going to use the third row, which has a -x, and I'm going to multiply the third row by 2 so that 2x will have a -2x to cancel. So I'm going to add rows 2 and 3 by changing row 3. Okay, so I'm going to multiply this whole row 3 by -2 this time. So that whole thing by -2. So I'm not changing row 2, I'm bringing it down, which was 2x plus 5y plus 2z equal -11. Now let's multiply the third row by that -2. Whoops, not by -2, y'all, by +2, right? Because I've already got the negative there. So we're only multiplying this row by a 2. 2 times -1 gave me -2x. 2 times 8 gives me 16y. 2 times -3 gave me -6z. And then 2 times -24 is a 48. All right, y'all, but look at that. X is canceled again. So I got 5 and 16, which give me 21y. 2 and -6 gives me a -4z. And then that -11, -48 is a -59. But y'all look, I got y's and z's here. I got y and z here. So these two equations now we can write together as a 2x3 system. So now we got a 2-variable system. All right, y'all. So I'm looking at these to eliminate one of these variables. And don't pick the y's because the y's got a 9 and a 21. Whoo, that'd be hard to eliminate. I got a -4 and a -2. If I multiply this whole row by a -2, that -2 times -2 will make that a +4z, which will then cancel. So this row I'm going to multiply by -2. All right, y'all. -2 times 9 is a -18y. -2 times -2 is a +4z. -2 times -25 is a +50. Now bring the second row down. We didn't change it. And y'all, these are probably the longest problems we'll do this whole year in this class, okay? But here we go. -18 and 21 give me 3y. The z's cancel. And 50 and a -59 give me a -9. So y'all look at that. I can now finally solve for the y. And to do that, I'm just going to divide both sides by 3. So that cancels. I get y is a -3. But y'all check this out. I got to back substitute the -3 into one of these two equations that I got right here. Because then I can plug in for the y, solve for the z. Once I know what the y is and the z is, I can go plug those into one of my original 3 equations and solve for the x. So when you got 3 variables, you gotta back substitute at least twice, okay? All right, so I'm gonna put the -3 in for one of the y's. This one looks easier. So I'm gonna have 9 times -3 minus 2z equals a -25. All right, remember, multiply first. So that's going to give us a -27 minus 2z equals -25. I'll then add 27 to both sides. So y'all keep up with your signs. That brings down that -2z. And -25 and 27 is a +2. So y'all looks like when we divide by -2, that gives me a +1, but that gives me a -1 for my z. So y is -3, z is -1. So I'm going to plug it into this first equation. I have x plus y, which is -3, plus z, which is -1. All that has to equal a -1. So this is my last back substitute. All right, y'all, like terms over here. So a -3 minus 1 gives me -4, equal to that -1. And finally, add 4 to both sides. And 4 and -1 means my x is 3. So remember, ordered triples. The x, then the y, which was -3, then the z, which is -1. All right, y'all. But let me show y'all why y'all love the calculator. So I'm going to go back up here and I'm going to put in a 1, 1, 1, -1. 2, 5, 2, -11, -1, 8, -3, -24 on my calculator and let it give me this answer. So y'all, let's share my calculator. Whoops. All right, so I'm going to clear this off. All right, y'all. So remember, second x -1, edit. But y'all, this time when I hit enter, this is not a 2 by 3. This one has 3 rows, right? Enter, and 4 columns. So now it's putting all 12 of my places I need. So I had 1x, it should be 1, enter, 1y, enter, 1z, enter, and that equaled -1. And enter. All right, the next row I had a 2, enter, 5, 2, and a -11. Enter. And then my last row, I had a -1, enter, 8, enter, a -3, enter, and then a -24 for that row, enter. All right, all my numbers are entered. So now we quit the screen, member. So second mode. Y'all, but what's nice? Everything else is the same as we've been doing. We're going to go get the RREF. Then we'll come back and get that matrix. So second, x -1, go to math, and then go down to RREF. Enter. And then second x -1 for matrix. Hit enter because A is highlighted. That's my 3 by 4 matrix. Y'all remember now the right column will be in order. The X on top, the Y in the middle, and the Z will be the bottom number. And y'all look at that. 3, -3, -1. So on these, I really, really, really like doing the calculators on them. All right, so y'all got your calculators ready. I'm gonna let y'all play with this one here. All right, y'all. So I'm gonna let y'all solve this one. See what we get. See if y'all are getting good on my calculator. 8x minus a y plus a z is going to equal -57. 2x plus 2y minus 3z equals 12. X minus 3y plus 2z is going to equal a -27. So the rest of these I'm probably just going to do by calculator, okay? All right, so any of y'all want to try that? All right, so let me get y'all good on this. So let me clear everything out. All right, so I'm gonna put in an 8. Whoops, let me get back to my screen. So I'm gonna put in an 8, -1, 1, -57. 2, 2, -3, 12, 1, -3, 2, -27. All right, y'all, let's go throw that in the calculator. So second x -1, I'm going to go to edit, enter. I've got a 3x4, so enter and enter. All right, y'all, put your numbers in. 8, enter. -1, enter. 1, enter. -57. And enter. All right, first equation in. Now I got a 2, enter. 2, enter. -3, enter. And then +12. And enter. All right, y'all, last row is a +1, enter. -3, enter. 2, enter. And then a -27 and enter. All right, so I'm gonna quit the screen. So has anyone done it and got any answers? All right, y'all, x -1, go to math and arrow down. Enter on RREF, and then go get that matrix. So second, x -1, and enter. So you're using that second x -1 for the matrix 3 times. First time to edit, then you quit. Second time to get the RREF under math. The third time is just to grab the matrix. Now hit enter. And y'all, let's see, -6, 3, -6. Oh, we ain't done that one yet. Okay. All right, so that one, my answers would be -6, 3, -6. So y'all on the calculator, I just punch them in, RREF, and be done with it, okay? So y'all, do y'all have questions on these?
Yes, sir. I have one.
Uh-huh.
So I missed the part, the very first one we did just a couple seconds ago. It started with x minus or plus y or something like that. I was wondering how you put the x and the y in the matrix thing.
Was it the long one I did?
Yes, sir.
This
You
one?
just did it. You started it by hand.
Uh-huh. So this one I did by hand.
Yes, sir.
Uh-huh. So now when I did the matrix on this one, here's the variables I had, right?
Yes, sir.
So I put a 1, 1, 1, -1.
Oh, okay. Okay. That
And
makes
then I
sense.
did the second row would be what? 2, 5, 2, -11,
Yes, sir.
and then -1, 8, -3, -24.
Yes, sir. That
Throw
makes
that in there and boom, it'll knock it out.
sense. Thank you.
All right, so now what we got coming up on next class, we're going to do 3-6 and 3-7. But what I'm going to do is the 3-6 support now. And it's not bad. 3-6 support goes over like getting you ready for word problems. Okay, y'all. So this will be support for 3.6. So what we're going to do next class, it'll be the same stuff starting out, but we got to figure out the equations based off of the sentences they're giving us for that one. So let's play with see what words mean, I guess. So what they want us to do is change the word phrase to an algebraic expression. And then it says use X as the variable. So y'all, the first one, a number increased by 6. So let the number, I don't know, that's going to be X increased by 6. What's that mean? So if I said a number
X
increased by,
plus 6.
and that's perfect, right? So a number increased by 6, add 6 and be done to the X. What about, and this is just getting you used to words like increased and stuff like that. Here's one that says the quotient of a number and 7. Well, what's quotient mean?
Divide.
Uh-huh. So if I got the quotient of a number and 7, that's just going to be what? X divided by 7. How about 36 less than some number? So start with the X again. When you see less than, that means
Subtract.
uh-huh. And then oh, this one, I guess they said use a T on this one, but I'm still using my X's. This one had a multiple choice answer. I'll show you. 36 over T, 36 minus T, T minus 36, and T divided by 36. So ours would be the T minus 36 versus my X, okay? Oh, so 4 was just a number increased by 6. Oh, hell, that's a repeat, ain't it? Here's the difference. A number increased by 6. But notice the difference. Up here, they spelled out 6. On this one, they just wrote a 6. But y'all, it's the same equation, so it's going to be X plus 6, okay? All right, y'all, try this one. 26 more than twice the number. $26 more than twice the number. Are y'all going with A, B, C, or D? A is 26x plus 2. B is 2x plus 26. C is 2x minus 26. And D is x divided by 2 plus 26. Which one of those is 26 more than twice a number?
Is that B?
B, perfect. All right, 26 more, and then twice the number meant multiplication on that, okay? All right, so those aren't too bad. So let me go to the last two they're doing. So this would be like number 9 here. So check this out. Justin had $43 before spending Q dollars on jeans. How much money remains? Well, y'all, let's see. He started with 43, so it's got to be 43 first. He's spending Q dollars on his jeans. So remember, if you spend something, you're subtracting that money from your start. We don't know how much he spent. He just spent Q dollars. So that means 43 minus what he spent is what remains. All right, y'all, let's see what y'all think about this one. Now, this one says the sum of two numbers is 7. Then it says 3 times the larger number plus 2 times the smaller number is 34. Find the numbers. So basically, this one's getting you back into the systems of equations, and this is the last one that they had in support. But it's getting us ready for the 3 variable equations in 3.6 when we come back. So how would you write the sum of two numbers? Well, y'all, that could be an x plus y equals 7. So remember, sum means addition. Now look what they got. 3 times the larger, so that'll be 3x plus 2 times the smaller, so that'll be 2y. Together, that's going to equal 34. So look what they did. They gave us a word problem to set up our system of equations. Now I'm gonna lie, you can plug this on the calculator, 117, 32, 34, and it'll spit it out quick. But I'm gonna actually solve this by elimination. And I'm going to eliminate that y. Now, if I want to eliminate the y, I'm going to have to multiply this first row by what? Now, you could have done the x's. Since you got a 3x here, you could have multiplied by -3 and then that x. But I'm going to eliminate the y, and I'm going to multiply everybody on this top equation by that -2. That way I get a -2y that'll cancel with that y, okay? So let's distribute the -2. We get -2x, -2y, and then that -7 give me a -14. I'm not changing the second row. I'm leaving them the same. Now, y'all look what happens here. 3x and -2x, that's just going to leave us an x. The y's cancel. And then 34 and -14 give me what? A positive, what's that? A positive 20? But y'all look here. The x is done. The x is 20. So now I'm going to back substitute and put a 20 in for that x. So 20 plus a y equals 7. So y'all, this one I'm just going to subtract 20. And that's going to give me y is what? A -13. Okay, so if you put that in 20 and negative 13 equals a positive 7. And then y'all, like I said, I'll give you one more shot on the calculator here. So let me share my calculator. Now, on that one, when I hit second x negative 1, I'm going to go to edit, enter. Now remember, that's a 2 by 3 because I got 2 equations. So I will do 2 enter, 3 enter, and then punch in 117. So 1 enter, 1 enter, 7 enter. And then remember my second row was 3 enter, 2 enter, and 34. Now MATLAB's going to want to know which of these numbers is larger and which ones is smaller, okay? So let's quit this screen. Go get our RREF by hitting second x negative 1. Go to math and arrow down. Right, there's RREF. Now go get that matrix by hitting second x negative 1 and enter. Now y'all remember we just got what, a 20 and a negative 13. When I hit enter on the right side, you got 20 and negative 13. Now remember, MATLAB will want the larger number, which was my 20, and then the smaller number was my negative 13. Alrighty, y'all. So, whoops, I guess hit enter again. Alrighty, so questions on this. And y'all, here's the thing on this. Either get good by doing these by hand or get good by using the calculator, okay? Either way will work, okay?